Salutations, Utopians. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. It was definitely an excellent day in the NFL. Two conference games for all the marbles to go to the Super Bowl. Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Detroit Lions versus the San Fran 49ers. Um, let's start off with the elite division, the AFC. First and foremost, kudos to both teams. They had I would say roller coaster seasons. Baltimore on the injury side, and just definitely you noticed a tremendous difference this off season. I mean, this regular season without lead offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy not on the sideline. With that being said, Kansas City caught fire at the right time, and it's been quite a treat. This magical playoff run they've been on. Uh, this today's game was fascinating from the perspective that the Baltimore Ravens are the superior team, I believe, on paper, and are just overall more talented. But in the playoffs, there's this X factor called experience that you could tell at the key skill positions that Kansas City Chiefs favored in. Anytime you got Andy Reid, who's experienced tremendous success throughout his career, first in the NFC with the Philadelphia Eagles and Donovan McNabb, and then Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in Kansas City, you immediately recognize there was just a certain presence they had about them. The '96 Bulls had it. The magical run with the Golden State Warriors, New York Yankees era when they had it. The Red Wings with the NHL. Just certain teams have this moxie about them and this demeanor where you just know somehow, some way they're going to pull this game off. And for all the talent Baltimore has, they just overall were missing something, and one of the key factors was discipline. There was a lot of blatant extracurriculars where they couldn't quite bottle their emotions, and it ended up being costly. A couple roughing the passer penalties, unnecessary stuff that just you can't make mistakes in. But similar like to the Detroit Lions, the Baltimore Ravens are here, and it's going to be quite an off season. Obviously, everyone wants to pile on Zay Flowers for that red zone fumble, and that is exactly what, when you have a showdown and a clash between two elite teams, like that could have been a Super Bowl in and of itself. Every play counts, and Zay probably should have got down before trying to cross the pylon. May have gotten a little greedy, especially when you got an MVP like Lamar Jackson, dual threat. But hindsight, quarterback armchair is easy to do when you know in past tense. The gladiator and the competitive alpha male got the best of him in that moment, and it proved to be costly. But you cannot isolate just any one play, even though it is a game of inches at that point. Moving along to the Detroit Lions versus the San Francisco 49ers. What an epic, magical season. The brain trust over there, from Martha Ford all the way down to Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, have done a tremendous job. The Detroit Lions had a rookie running back. Some key rookie players coming back like Jamo Williams. Josh Reynolds returns, the Sun Devil. St. Brown was returning. Laporta, who they drafted in the second round, has been proven to be all pro. Forget the age, forget about his amount of years in the league. Even though he's a rookie, he plays like he's been here before. The Detroit Lions have superseded all expectations. I'm proud to say that the Global Utopia Sports has been covering them since last summer. I did make claims that the Brad Holmes would be Executive of the Year, and he definitely has lived up to the par of that expectation. And it's only going to get sweeter with the draft being hosted this year in Detroit. This was a game, there were so many sub-stories. Jared Goff, the California kid, being sent off to Michigan as a former LA Ram, having to watch that team in its first year, trading him, win a Super Bowl, and him running through and having the prospect of running through two California teams, growing up being a San Fran fan, and growing up being a huge fan of, so much so that he rocks Joe Montana's number 16, and out of respect. And so it was just quite the experience to witness him go out there today, and he laid it on the line. And obviously, like a young team, the Lions made some mistakes and some errors. Young team, not just on the field, but off the field, on the sidelines with their head coach. No need to pile on, because I'm going to always say I got a ton of respect for people, who do not change character when the moment happens. So many times you see a coach go conservative and they end up losing the game. And Dan Campbell was himself through and through. They're one of the most active fourth down teams in the NFL, and they stuck to character. At the end of the day, San Fran has been aiming for the Super Bowl, and that is exactly what ended up happening. Acquiring CMC, going out there, getting Chase Young, no expense has gone unturned. Paying Bosa top level money in the league for a defensive pass rusher, and with Purdy on a 7th round contract, still it's only going to look up for them. Obviously, they did not look the best, but Purdy definitely ran a game-winning drive. When it mattered the most, did what he had to do. He's still a mystery to me on the bubble, but it doesn't matter what I think. When you're saving that amount of money for a franchise, it doesn't matter. I'll be very interested to see what contract negotiations will look like and how they gauge him. I'm sure they have the best of the best analytics crew to really properly gauge his market value. Don't want to get caught up in a Deshaun Watson contract situation, but at the same time, he's definitely going to make more than the bottom half of the quarterbacks in the league, now being in his second Super Bowl appearance, I believe. With that being said, side note, I'm so excited about the running back position. CMC is the present and Jahmyr Gibbs is the future. Him and Bijan Robinson lived up to the billing in terms of where they were drafted. CMC had 2,000 all-purpose yards. I think both Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons will challenge Marshall Faulk's 4 seasons of 2,000 consecutive, 4 seasons of 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards from the line of scrimmage. That's what Christian McCaffrey had this year. It truly was a privilege to bear witness, and the future is bright for that young man, and we got to see history in the making. This was an excellent Sunday for sports. I know a lot of people are upset probably of the outcome. Everyone loves a good underdog story, but Detroit is steadily every year improving, and they got nowhere to go but up. I can't wait to see what Jared Goff is going to do this offseason. There's big-time negotiations to make way, but all in all, the Detroit Lions have nothing to be ashamed of. Congrats. And if you're the Ravens, this is a rich wide receiver market this offseason. I hope they dip their toes into getting themselves a true WR1, whether it's in the draft or in free agency. All right, Utopians, I'm wishing y'all all the best, and I hope it's a very productive week. Stay tuned. I got more videos to come. Cheers.